Hello, everybody. Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're talking Maximum Overdrive. I am Vic Azim here with my co-host, Mr. Nick Arcana, who looks to be in a beautiful mood. How are things over on your side of town, Mr. Nick Arcana? How are you enjoying your weekend, your day so far?
The way I'm enjoying it is I watched this movie and took a nap while watching the movie.
Oh, well, okay. Well, nice to know you were doing the proper research for this
I
deep dive
was.
podcast by sleeping during the movie that we're talking about. See,
Well,
folks, this is the
it makes
level
you
of
feel
commitment
better.
that I'm dealing with on a week-to-week basis. So.
Makes you feel better. I did make it halfway through the movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, that's okay. For the rest of our fans out there, Maximum Overdrive 1986. I'm sure you've seen it in passing. Maybe like me, you saw it as a kid on TV. They used to show it late night all the time on TBS, TNT, 1 o'clock in the morning with commercials, staying up on a school night when I should be sleeping, but still staying tuned to see what happens to this damn Green Goblin truck and do our makeshift group of ragtag survivors ish. Do they make it out? This was exciting stuff for me as a kid, man. I'm just saying. So
It would be more exciting if we got a little bit bigger of a budget so we can use more types of machinery throughout this movie.
yes, well. I'm just trying to butter up with the good things before we get into all the bad things. The good things is, as a kid, this movie was a hell lot of fun to watch. Again, like on a Thursday night, middle of the night. Great midnight type of movie watch. But I have to say, it's been a long time since I revisited it. So, well, let me tell the audience. About a month ago, me and Nick Arcana watched this movie together. First time in a long time. Didn't remember really anything about it. And watching it together was fun. There's enough there to where it was a fun watching with a friend. It was a fun group experience, a fun group movie. Now, this second watch, individually watching it on our own, more for research purposes for the podcast, and really then paying attention, taking notes. And on the second viewing, feels like the movie completely fell apart for both of us. Just a complete nosedive from that first viewing, which happens sometimes. Sometimes you're like, you feel pretty good on the first viewing, and the second viewing, you're like, oh, what? It happens sometimes. Usually it's the other way around. Usually you feel bad about a movie in the first viewing, and then maybe you start to like it more on the second viewing. But this was the opposite. So,
Unless you're Scream 6, and then we both still don't care for it after the second viewing.
well, I mean, since you brought it up, I'll just give some quick notes before the Scream 6 fans jump in the comments and destroy us with 9 paragraphs. See what you set us up for? Let me just say, I don't share Nick Arcana's opinion of Scream 6 on rewatches. I do like it more, but the criticism of Scream 6 is very simple. We just don't like the last half an hour of the movie. We both like the first half of the movie a lot. It's just that once you get to where it's like becomes apparent that everybody's going to survive in this movie, Ghostface is definitely not Death from Final Destination because he can't seem to kill anybody in these movies. So that once it goes down that path and you get all these almost kills, but Scream fans, don't destroy us. We do like certain parts of the movie. Of course, the best one in the franchise, Scream 4. We both love Scream 4, especially Nick Arcana, who's the biggest champion of Scream 4 I've ever seen. He talks so much about it. I'm like, man, why do you love Scream 4 so much? It blows my mind. But, you like what you like. So,
Scream
yeah.
3 is better than Scream 4.
What? Oh, this is a turn of events. Scream 3 better than Scream 4. Get out of here. Scream 3 is a bore fest of all. It's the only movie in the series that's a bore fest is Scream 3, I would say. I got the second half of Scream 3, once you get to, the mansion, that's pretty good. But come on, Roman doing all that stuff by himself. He had to have a second killer. I don't know. It's
Yeah, then
kind
he
of boring.
killed her so he didn't have any witnesses.
Angelina was probably the accomplice, but that's neither been it has been denied. It definitely has not been confirmed. So, uh, all right, but either way, point is Maximum Overdrive second watch with attention to detail. Not the biggest fan. I don't know if there'll be another rewatch for the rest of my life. I feel like I've had enough of Maximum Overdrive. I've had the maximum amount of Maximum Overdrive. But before we get into the nitty gritty, should give some background on the movie. So, of course, this is based on a Stephen King short story called Trucks, which I guess was also from the book Night Shift. Um, And it also actually has another movie version from 1999 called Trucks. It came straight to the USA Network. It's called Trucks 1999. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's also based on the same short story. So they try to do it again, but haven't heard if it's good or bad. No idea. But it's called Trucks if anybody's interested in that. Of course, what this movie's most known for is not even the movie itself. It's known for being, an hour and a half long cocaine session for Stephen King. So the man was high as a kite all throughout the filming. He doesn't remember half the filming of it. Stephen King is basically disowned the movie. He's like, man, you know what? That movie's trash. Someone asked him, hey, why haven't you ever directed again? He said, I did. I did one time. That was Maximum Overdrive. So he's disowned the movie. Everybody's disowned the movie. The actress Yeardley Smith, who Nick Arcana is not a big fan of, but who actually would go on to great heights as Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons. She's ashamed of the movie. You'll never hear Emilio Estevez talk about it. Everybody who worked on this movie feels like it was a nightmare, I guess, and disowned it. One crew member actually lost his eye. I don't know if you heard about this, but so you remember this scene where the lawnmower comes to life, right?
Yeah.
Well, Stephen King and all his cocaine-laced wisdom, he was like, okay, a crew member came up to him and was like, listen, let's take the blade off the bottom of the lawnmower. And he's like, no, keep it in there. And the crew member's like, well, they won't even see it in the shot, so it doesn't matter if it's in or not, so why don't we take it out? He's like, no, I just prefer the blade to be in there. So then the blade's in there, so the lawnmower goes over a piece of wood, chips the wood flies in the crew member, the director of photography's eye. They have to take him out in a helicopter. He returns 2 weeks later to finish the movie, but there's an infection there, and he ends up losing his eye completely. Sues Stephen King and sues the studio for like millions of dollars. But yeah, I mean, listen, when you're high as hell, then you're just kind of like, keep the blade in, and a man loses his eye. So I don't know, but that tells you what kind of set this was. Yeah. So, anyways, Dino De Laurentiis, who we see all the time in these horror movies, Maximum Overdrive. Sometimes they come back. The one good thing to come out of this movie was that at the time Stephen King was doing this with Dino De Laurentiis, I guess they were trying to make Evil Dead 2, but they didn't have the financing for it. And Stephen King heard about that, so he told Dino De Laurentiis about that, and then Dino basically then funded Evil Dead 2. So we did sort of get Evil Dead 2 out of the making of Maximum Overdrive, which probably is the best thing we can say about Maximum Overdrive. $9 million budget, made about $7 million at the box office. Not a hit movie by a stretch.
You said 9 million?
9 million, sir. 9 million.
Did it all go to the Joker face?
Well, I was thinking like 3 million probably went to AC/DC. So this damn soundtrack is carrying this movie to the finish line. I'll tell you what. Okay, so basically Green Goblin face. Now, that is the Green Goblin from the Marvel world. Apparently, Marvel did give their permission for them to use it, which is kind of wild because I mean, this truck is like splattering people's brains out, and like so Marvel now obviously is like owned by Disney. So in today's world, they would never license out like a Marvel character to a B-level horror movie where the truck's killing people. It would never happen under Disney's watch. But back in the day, Marvel was like, "Yep, let's do it." So,
well, there's also, I think back in the day, Marvel was about to be bankrupt at one point, wasn't they?
Marvel in the 80s absolutely was not the Marvel we know of today. So they were probably a little bit more like, yeah, let's get the paycheck, and also just a little more like, not to say fun, but more like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like probably it was a smaller thing. It wasn't a big Disney conglomerate controlling things. So, so we got Green Goblin there. Yep.
Yeah, what's funny is when you told me that, I just thought you were joking. I didn't know you were actually being dead serious about that.
No, it's serious. Now, Stephen King, he didn't want it. He didn't want anything like that on the truck. He just wanted a normal truck. But oddly enough, the Green Goblin thing, it is kind of iconic on the truck. Like that truck is pretty much one of the Goblin truck is probably when you think of the movie, that image is what comes to mind. The Goblin truck, I would say. Dino, who was financing the movie, he wanted the face of Darth Vader on the truck. So, and I guess George Lucas was like, no, I'm not giving permission for that bullshit. Right? You're not taking my. So Dino was thinking Darth Vader truck. So, yeah. So didn't make any money. 14% Rotten Tomatoes. Critics hate it. Fans panned it. Quickly disowned by the director, everybody. So, but over the years, again, just coming on TV so much, gained a little bit of a cult following. If you go online, basically, I think that me and Nick's thoughts aside, the general consensus is it can be a fun movie as long as you don't take it seriously. If you begin to overthink it at all or think about it in any serious way, then it falls apart. Unfortunately, on this podcast, we do overthink things and we do have to get to the nitty-gritty details. So we will be tearing it apart somewhat. But for the audience, everything we're about to say is under the microscope. If you do that first watch with your friends, turn your brain off, you'll have fun. I just want to preface before we get in the nitty-gritty of the movie, but because that's just what we do here. But
so the problem with saying, it's best to not have high expectations and go into it and not wanting it to be serious. The movie tries to take itself seriously through a good couple of these scenes, especially in a good amount of the inside scenes when they're trying to be serious to figuring out what's going on, how they can get out of this situation, how they're getting their firepower. There's a lot of decently serious scenes in this movie.
Yeah, and I don't understand it because the way it's set up initially is not that way. You think about that ATM scene with Stephen King.
Right.
That's establishing like a funny tone, like we're getting a horror comedy, right? The whole everything with the watermelon at the beginning, all that stuff is like funny to me. Like, I don't know, in the second half, it does seem to lose that comedic not taking it serious part, and it does try to be more of like a serious sort of us against machines movie. But the problem is you just never really get on board with the characters, and they don't have the budget to have the action. It seems like most of the action is really in the first half of the movie, honestly. Once those trucks just circle around and you kind of fall into just like nothing's really happening here. It's a slow ass middle of the movie. So, but it seems like they had the right idea. The first 30 minutes feels like, oh, we're getting fun, comedic, self-aware that they're making a bad movie. But you're right. In the second half, it does turn into like, hey, let's try to have let's try to like, I almost feel like he ran out of cocaine halfway through the movie. Like that first 30 minutes is so energetic. Like the energy level just dies halfway through the movie. So I don't know what was going on there, but
I will say, I do got a question about one of these scenes. It's the arcade scene. How drunk do you need to be to tell a pinball machine, yo mama?
You know what's wild is, if anybody in this movie, that actor, that's Giancarlo Esposito. That dude would go on to have an amazing, amazing career. That's one of the main villains from Breaking Bad. So it's really weird to see him in such like a small early role here, kind of a nothing role. But but see, I don't know. Again, that's everything in the beginning. I love that. I love the whole thing with the waitress with the knife. I thought that was well done. I love the vending machine stuff. The kid getting steamrolled is hilarious to me. That is like, if I have to go back and rewatch one thing, it's this kid getting steamrolled, just because you really don't expect them to show it. Like you're like, oh, they're gonna cut away, but they're like, nope, steamroll. Like, jeez, that's like Stephen King. Like,
here's the puppet of the kid.
That's Stephen King. That's Stephen King doing a line and be like, yep, steamroll him. Like, yeah, I don't know that. I mean, like I said, that's all a part of like the first 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, if they can keep this energy level up, then at most, then at that point, you're like, okay, it's still not a good movie, but you're like, okay, this is going to be very entertaining. That's how I felt. But once they all just get together inside and the trucks are outside, yeah, it just kind of loses its energy, because you're right. They're trying to have like character moments and stuff, but like at no point do you really like or care about the characters. I would say the closest thing to a likable character and probably the best acting is probably the kid, honestly. Like on the first second watch, I think I would think the kid would have grown up to be a good actor based on this performance.
I mean, let's face it, the kid really had to do more physical acting than vocal acting, which is easier for a kid, in my opinion.
Even emoting to like finding out about his dad's death and all that stuff, it was actually pretty solid. I mean, I would say, I don't know, I would say, especially in the 80s, these kids' performances were rough, as we know. I mean, there's some pretty good ones nowadays, but back then, I mean, if they could have got this kid in some of those Nightmare movies. But yeah, I mean, but Emilio Estevez at this point, he had just done the movie Breakfast Club, so he's actually a pretty big star here. And Stephen King wanted to get Bruce Springsteen, the singer, to play this role, but I don't know. I mean, again, but they wanted Emilio Estevez. Stephen King was like, okay, whatever. But Emilio's a pretty big star at this point, and at this point, Stephen King is like the biggest horror author, so it's kind of a big deal. So Emilio's on board. Emilio Estevez, here's his dedication though, and I gotta give props for this. Before the movie started, he spent I guess some time as a short order cook. Is that what it's called? Short order cook? Am I saying that
Yeah.
right? So yeah, he did that for a while actually to kind of get into the character. At one point
So
when they're
Emilio Estevez worked at a Waffle House to get ready for this role.
well, I guess like at one point before when they're setting up to film, like some truckers actually come there and like they don't know what's going on, and Emilio actually just like actually cooks them breakfast,
Oh,
like as if
nice.
just like he's like in character, so he just cooks them breakfast, they eat and they leave, and then don't even know they're just like on a film set or whatever. So, so Emilio, I mean, props him as an actor. I mean, he's not given much to work with, but he was taking it seriously. He was like, okay, let me actually do the job for a while so I can get a feel for the character. So he was clearly approaching it like taking it seriously. It's just he's not given much to do. His character isn't given really. I guess we're supposed to be on his side because he's getting like gypped by his boss, but I mean that only goes so
Yeah.
far. So
So, as talking about some of the serious moments, let's talk about this boss for a second. So, granted, I wasn't alive in '86. I was '92, baby. So I didn't really start working till like 2000, somewhere in the 2000s. I can't remember. But I know for a fact that even in '86, it is illegal to tell your employee, "Hey, you're gonna work 9 hours. I'm only paying you 8, though." Like,
well, I mean, this is a boss who has a basement full of guns.
yeah.
I don't know if he's working in the legalities of the world. This is a corrupt boss.
Well, this
So
boss's whole thing is, "I'll just send you back to jail." It's like, yeah, you don't have that power, dude. All Emilio has to do is mention what you're doing to him. You're gonna have inspectors there. They gonna find all them guns, and then he gonna be in trouble. This dude, Emilio's character, has more rights than this guy when it comes to employment, and this guy is just, I don't know what his deal was.
I wonder if Emilio's perspective is that if it's literally just like in his situation, it's so hard for him to find any job that he's like kind of he has him by the balls in terms of just like you can't get a job. Whatever I'm doing here, you gotta stick with this job because it's so hard. So maybe just like, okay, this is bullshit, but this is the only place that would hire me. It might be that kind of situation. Then he is kind of on the like, I'm gonna go report you, and then I'm gonna just be unemployed. It's like, well, all right, well.
Okay,
So,
I'd rather be homeless than to be some man's bitch.
I'll take that smaller paycheck. So.
I'll work that hour for free, even though I can fight that.
Wait, I'll make up for it in food though. I'll be cooking myself some omelets on the side, making myself some hash browns. He's feeding himself all throughout the day there too, right?
Yes.
My man Emil is probably sleeps like in the back room, like that's his house too. He stays there.
I mean, kidding me? He makes himself a cot and sleeps in the gun basement with the girl.
You know who this role really called for? Especially the way this hitchhiker girl comes into town and immediately falls in love with the Estevez.
Tom Atkins.
This should have been. This feels like a Tom Atkins role, doesn't it? Can't you picture? Think about it. Can't you really picture Tom Atkins as like the new Estevez role here?
You would need to be a little younger.
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, Tom Atkins in the '80s, it's just I don't know. Like he might be one of those dudes that like when he turned 30, he started looking like he was 50, and he always looked 50. But he's in his 30s in the '80s, I'm sure, because he's still alive now. So, but I don't know. This is
40 and still be alive now.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how, but he always looked like he's in his 40s for some reason. But this is definitely, man, and I gotta say, I mean, this movie improves dramatically if it's Tom Atkins.
To be fair, he knows how to ham it up for low budget movie. For low budget, needs to be. He has the charisma to do these type of movies.
He has that lead man energy with these type of situations. Now, I sent you a link to the weird trailer for this movie. Forget the movie for a second. This trailer should be studied. The trailer is like Stephen King ominously talking to the camera, saying, I decided to direct a movie. And then giving weird looks at the camera. And it's the weirdest trailer ever. And then the music on the trailer is the Halloween 3 music. So again, that's I guess maybe he thought he had cast Tom Atkins because it's the Halloween 3 music playing over the trailer for this. I'm like, what? What the hell? I don't know. I mean, I think Halloween 3 might have a Dino De Laurentiis connection. So Dino was like, just use the Halloween 3 music, but I don't know. It's
Wait,
a
you know
cocaine
what?
pill trailer also. So
You want to see Stephen King with some weird facial expressions? Creepshow 1, his short that he did, where he pretty much turns into a plant because of some radioactive asteroid that falls in the sky. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, talk about some weird faces.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
sure he was still on cocaine when he did that.
Yeah, I gotta actually watch Creepshow pretty soon because watching Creepshow 2 made me realize that I haven't seen Creepshow 1 in a long time. So beyond that, I mean, I don't know. It just, it kind of slows down about 30, 40 minutes in. We get all this stuff with the guns in the basement, which again, really don't care about.
Well, it doesn't really lead anywhere because the only thing they use is a damn rocket launcher.
Yeah.
And the
We
real
get
question I got,
yeah.
because later on in the movie, we find out these trucks are circling this place because they need the diesel fuel.
Yep.
Which is why they're not just straight up destroying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why are y'all constantly circling the place? You're using up diesel fuel by constantly circling the damn place. Now, I can understand circling the place until other trucks get there, but once other trucks get there, they all like stop in a certain way.
Yep.
And then they're still circled, but they're not moving, so they can all go off and save the diesel fuel. It's just, it makes no sense that they want diesel. They need that for diesel fuel, but they just keep circling the buildings, like using it all up. Also, that's some dirty diesel.
Yeah.
The diesel I use in my truck is like see-through green. This stuff looked like oil.
I wonder if well, why don't we talk about the let's theorize for a moment about the why this is all happening. So we're told at the beginning basically that they're in the planets in the tail of a comet, I guess.
Yeah, so I have that written down. They're in the tail of Rhea M comet, and we're supposed to stay in that comet for 8 days, 5 hours, 29 minutes, and 23 seconds.
And so later, sort of revealed or hinted the idea that there are aliens behind this whole thing, and that I guess the idea canon-wise is that the aliens want the trucks to take out humanity first, and then they're going to come to Earth and take over all the resources.
I missed that. Was that part of where I fell asleep at?
well, some of it's
come from.
Some of it's researching just the I guess maybe the short story, the intentions behind it. At the end, I believe they do see that they shot down a UFO basically, but Emil Estevez's character I think is sort of freestyling about this idea about the aliens. We're supposed to, I guess, take it as canon, but the idea is, and I guess the idea is it makes sense because obviously it can't be just the comet. There has to be, these trucks have personality, so it has to be like some kind of sinister force there. I just wish, honestly, we would have actually seen aliens. This movie could have used like an actual bad guy at the end. The ending's
a bad guy. It's a Green Goblin truck.
No. We needed the damn UFO to come down, aliens to jump out, and have one big ass battle with the Emil Estevez. All right.
Also, and you get on me about wanting fight scenes in movies. Okay.
Hey, but, you call for a fight scene in every movie, though. You could be watching a romantic comedy, be like, all right, now the characters get into a damn fist fight. I'm like, oh, what?
Have you never seen Romeo and Juliet? There's sword fights in that one. That's a love story. Anyway, so I will say one of my big peeves about this movie, and I'm jumping to the end, is, and I feel like they should have saved some of that 30-minute budget for at least his last 10 minutes, because apparently cars aren't affected. I guess they're just not as deadly, and these aliens don't care. But we could have gotten an amazing like chase scene with the within the last 10 minutes, the whole climax could have been a big chase scene. Said we just get some stare down and a rocket launcher to the face.
It's an anticlimactic ending, and how the hell does Emilio Estevez know about this island haven? What
I'm
this
guessing he's been there.
I mean, this man's lived a life, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
No, he did say.
Was this the island he's planning to, like, if he has to, like, run from the police, he's like, I'm gonna go to him. This was always just like his escape plan, I guess. So
I mean, he did say that at one point he was a deckhand on a sailing ship. So that's why, because I think I asked you and I didn't pay attention when I asked you, is why aren't the boats going crazy? And that's because the boat they get on allegedly has no motor. Even though I still don't remember them having a sailing ship, but like I said, I didn't get to the ending this time.
They sort of they do definitely pick and choose like which things come to life and which don't. It doesn't always make a lot of sense because you'd think everything would be at play, but you're right. Cars, it doesn't seem to. We see numerous times where characters are in the cars and doesn't really do anything. So, I don't know. I kind of want to read the short story just to see what that's like. And then I also kind of
probably should have.
Well, yeah. I just I don't know if I could find. I'll have to see online if I could find it. But yeah, I just think that, I mean, okay, maybe you didn't have the budget for aliens at the end, but it just needed more than this, more than just rocket launcher takes out the truck. I don't know, it's just anticlimactic. Also, you have too many survivors at the end. You could have definitely killed off more people here. I mean, especially the second half of the movie, like characters appear that we've never seen before. Like, how many damn people were in that diner? I mean, the people were coming in and out to help with the gas and stuff, and then people die randomly. Like, who just got shot? Who's that person in the green shirt? It's like we should have had more deaths, but more meaningful deaths. It's like, I don't know, he's just killing off like random people. And the people that are still alive, I'm just like, what? Why is he still alive? So I don't know. I do like the waitress lady, the "we made you," and then
she just gets shot up like crazy. She looks like Swiss cheese.
The actress did a good job of like just her slow. At the beginning, she seems like a reasonable waitress. By the end, she's like batshit crazy. So
okay, I mean, she looked like she wanted to punch Hank in the face when he's like, "Well, when you're done jerking off that radio," she just gave him that slow look of, "Do you want this? Do you want these hands?"
Now, there's a death in this movie that I felt the same way that I felt about the paraplegic death in Friday the 13th Part 2. And that's this blind man getting hit by a truck. I just don't like it because it's set up so stupid. The dude's just like, I'm going out, whatever. He walks and the trucks come in, and like all the characters wait till the very last second to be like, hey, there's a truck coming. I'm like, come on, guys. For a good 30 seconds, you saw this truck coming at him. Nobody can help the blind man. I mean, that felt unusually cruel.
So to be fair, guy's not technically blind. He has double vision because he got sprayed in the eyes with diesel fuel. I don't know why they didn't wash it out of his damn face.
Wait, not double vision. He clearly can't see though. I mean, he can't see the truck coming at him. So
he can
wait. If it was double vision, he would see two trucks coming at him, and he would get out of the way even faster. He'd be like, "Oh my god, two trucks!"
To be fair, his double vision is probably why he's like, "Well, if I jump left, I'm getting hit by a truck. I jump right, I'm getting hit by a truck. So might as well die."
The way he reacted, he didn't know anything was coming at him at all. So I don't know. Like, I feel like Emilio could have ran and dove and like got him out the way.
Then Emilio would have been dead. He was too far away from him.
That's a script, buddy. If they wanted Emilio to run and get him, Emilio could have ran and got him, right? That's just
the same Final Destination where the train takes 500 business days just to get 5 miles, okay?
Yeah, Emilio should have intervened in his death, all right? Damn it. I don't know. This just rubbed me the wrong way, so.
Well, apparently when Brett saved the dirty preacher dude, that interfered with his death for a while because even when he got back slammed by the damn truck, he just stayed in the ravine the whole time?
Yeah, I guess he was maybe just couldn't move, but nah.
Well, the way he landed in the ravine, I feel like he would have drowned, but I guess not. Because he landed face first into the ravine. if we're
Yeah,
supposed to believe he was unconscious this whole time until they start hearing him call for help, pretty sure he would have drowned.
yeah. I wonder if, like, especially with all our electronics now, it feels like this sort of movie could be remade with today's technology and today's special effects because you have, like, I didn't think about this. Everybody has a phone in their pocket, all these electronics we have. If everything's coming to life, there's a lot more to play with if they did like a remake. So
Well,
I'd like to
so
see it.
apparently, also when the kid's going through the neighborhood, he sees he sees a bunch of dead bodies. There's one that he saw. It was the guy with a Walkman, and of course, blood coming out of his ears. And I'm just wondering, why didn't that guy just take off the headphones before he got that bad? Because no amount of sound is going to kill you instantly. Not to, at least not to my knowledge.
Nah, blow your eardrum maybe, but I don't think kill you.
Yeah, so why didn't the guy just like throw his headphones off of him?
Would have been a good idea. This movie wasn't exactly dealing with logic though, so I wouldn't put too much on that. So
No, I do wish we did see a lawnmower kill. You don't get too many of those in movies.
I'm glad we didn't, only because knowing now what the set was like, somebody would have died in real life. I mean, someone lost their eye just with them doing a lawnmower coming to life. If you're being like the lawnmower's gonna run over somebody, I'm like, hey, you actually ran over the guy's face, like he's dead. Like I think we're asking a lot from this production.
Nah. I'm sure if that scene actually happened, Stephen King would have been like, take the blade off.
I'm sure at the end of like one of the filming days, like they were like, hey, you actually killed the kid, you steamrolled him. It's like, yeah, we had to get it on film, so it's like
we needed to make sure it looked real.
It's like you forgot to replace it with a dummy, like you used the real kid. Like, yeah.
Well, we don't know. There's a whole town in Maine just covered in dead bodies because of this movie.
Well, this is actually
North Carolina.
is North Carolina because apparently Dino, as a way to sort of save costs, he set up basically to really film a lot of stuff in North Carolina. He had like a little studio there. They filmed also the movie, the Cat's Eye movie was also Dino, and same thing, filmed North Carolina. That was 1985. I think this is 1986. So I think Stephen King wanted probably to film in Maine, but he was like, all right, well, let's just do North Carolina. So, but it feels like Maine to be still. I don't know.
Like I said, anything Stephen King is automatically getting connected to Maine, whether it's there or not.
I think there's at least one license plate in the movie that has Maine as the plate. So, I mean,
are we talking about that Curtis and Curran?
It might be them. Yeah, maybe them. One of the plates definitely got Maine. Well, it's one of those movies, man, where you're like, there's just not that much to talk about. It's kind of like you're either on board or you're bored. There's a double entendre: on board or bored. And I'm on board for the first half, but I'm bored for the second half. So, but again, if you're lucky enough to have a group of friends that like horror movies, it's not a bad movie night if you can get some people together and just laugh at the whole thing. But if you're watching it by yourself, I mean, I guess like at
You're
midnight,
watching it by yourself, do crack like Stephen King. You probably enjoy yourself better.
I mean, if it's late night and you're bored, it is a fun late night bored as hell movie.
Oh, it's late night and you're bored. It's a fun movie to pass out to.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you passed out during the day with it, so yeah. But yeah, I don't know if like
it's not because I've been awake since 2. I mean,
oh well, either way, I think that it's one of those movies that if you can find a free copy of, I would do that. But I wouldn't necessarily advise you to pay. I will say that the standout for this movie is the music. That AC/DC music, it does give the movie a certain energy throughout, I would say. Even in the times that it's bored, sometimes the music makes it feel like a cool music video. So they did a good job with that. That was Stephen King just asking them, hey, like, can I use your music? And they're like, yep. I think they have a cameo in the movie too, potentially. But
I know it looked like a van, AC/DC like tour van did.
Yep.
during that damn bridge scene. So plot twist: we've seen the newest Final Destination. Do you want to talk about this bridge scene real quick before we sign off? On how this didn't feel like a Maximum Overdrive movie. This felt like a death was taking over.
If Death wanted to use watermelons, yes.
I'm just talking about the whole thing with the controls just operating themselves.
This made me think of Final Destination for sure. So that felt like and that I wonder how much of the budget just went to this bridge scene. Like
that's probably why the rest of the movie was so slow paced afterwards.
Yeah. I wonder if they should have like should have with that idea they should have saved it where it's like our main characters at the end are driving away and then the bridge collapses on them and use that as the entire climax. That'd have been a much more fun way to use a bridge collapse meaningfully with the climax versus just using it as like a nothing 1 minute thing here at the beginning, although it is fun. Well, yeah, it definitely felt like a random Final Destination thing. The thing with the unfortunately, it has almost a Final Destination feel. Some of that stuff, like the vending machines, that stuff, it does feel like, maybe if Death was operating here, but obviously we know it's an alien race, I guess. But
Allegedly.
So,
I wonder what's the aliens? Martians? Are the Martians the ones taking over everything?
well, it's the Tremor. It's Tremors, of course. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's the Gotcha, the Predator, the Yacha, the Predators. Gotcha.
The Yacha Graboid. So.
Yacha Graboid.
Yeah, it's I hate to say it's funny, but it is a short story, and not to point out the hat, but it does feel like it would make for a good Tales from the Crypt episode. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this actually worked as an hour and a half movie, but for 30 minutes, just think of like the machines coming to life. It does work as a good anthology type thing, I'd say. So,
well, considering the fact the best parts of the movie was the first 30 minutes.
yeah, and you could have like cut out a lot of stuff and just had that same exact ending. They rocket launcher, get on the boat. That all could have been condensed into a fun 30-minute Are You Afraid of the Dark or Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side episode. I mean, sometimes a short story is meant to be just a short story. Yeah. So, well, the theme lately has been, man, we were doing all these Stephen King short stories. We're going to find more of them because, like, sometimes they come back. Maximum Overdrive. Can't see what else.
We're not doing Cell. Don't say Cell.
Oh, no.
I didn't care for the book. I didn't care for the movie. Actually, let me rephrase that. I didn't care for the book. I despise the movie.
Yeah, maybe we should do The Mist sometime in the future too. Although that's kind of a depressing movie, but
you're gonna make me sit through The Mist, aren't you?
Well, I mean, it's good. Well, no, I got an idea. Why don't we go back to our anthologies? We still got Tales from the Dark Side, Creep Show, Cat's Eye, Body Bags. We got a lot of anthologies we can dive into, and so
VHS.
Yeah,
at least the first one.
We can dive back on that train because then we're not, a slave.
We're not killing Stephen King stuff.
Yeah. Why? I like Stephen King's movies that are like from his actual longer books, like Misery's fantastic. I like Christine, those kind of things. But yeah, I don't know, turning his short stories into movies. Although, I mean, to be fair though, Shawshank Redemption is one of his short stories. That's an amazing movie. And but yeah, I think his novels work better as movies than short stories for the most part.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If Christine was in the same universe, would that make Christine more powerful? Because it was already alive.
I think Christine would have been able to block off this other thing from taking it over. So I feel like the thing would have been like, oh, here's a car. Let me take it over. And Christine's like, nope, you ain't taking over me. Like Christine would have enough control to be like, yo, it's interesting. Would Christine actually be like, you know what? I'm going to be on the side of the humans because this is too weird. Like
if the trucks tried to kill the human that was attached to Christine, yeah.
Christine got to be like, well, yeah, like I'm like better off with Earth with aliens not coming here and taking over. So it's like I'm going to help out the humans any way I can. It actually is an interesting idea.
Yeah, because again, Christine can't be destroyed by normal means, and we've seen that multiple times. I think you
No,
actually have to kill the
if you
person that it's attached to.
if you destroy Christine, it puts itself back together like immediately. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, any last
As
thoughts before
always,
we?
folks, you don't have to go home, but you need to watch. If you're going to watch this movie, watch it with a friend or watch it at bedtime. You're going to win every time.
Either you stay awake and are underwhelmed, or it puts you to sleep and you get a good sleep. So you can't lose.
Exactly. Even if you have insomnia, this movie will put you to sleep if you don't have friends to keep you awake.
Although with the AC/DC music, you have to turn the volume down. Would that music keep you awake though?
Not me. I used to sleep with hard rock playing,
Oh,
and then I got married, and then she told me to turn it down.
as any reasonable person would. So I don't blame her. So, all right. Well, folks, we've given the maximum amount of analysis that we can give on Maximum Overdrive. Now it's time to overdrive ourselves off this podcast.
You know what? Just for that, play Expedition 33 to all the gamers.
And nobody knows what that game is, and no one's told.
No, leave that in there. I want to know how many people, if they get to the ending, of course, how many people go, I know what that game is, jackass.
Well, I'm not a gamer, so that's true. I maybe it's big in the gamer space. So, all right. Well, that was the longest outro of all time. So I'll say once again, you guys take care. All right.